Just at 5
Al
o'clock.
has started the meeting.
I got to get started on the finance meeting. Yeah. All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Terry got out of Seattle late, so he's not going to be able to make it here in time. So we have the amazing Angela Baldwin here to sit in on this for Terry. He asked me to chair the meeting for us, so I will call this meeting to order. I am here. Councilmember Watson is here, and Councilmember Baldwin in lieu of Deputy Mayor Carter. So we'll go into item number 1 with personnel updates. Hello, Shawnee.
Hello, Justin. Okay, so the main things are that we have some hires and promotions. So Brian Sandler are coming from our HR manager starting August 1st. So we're really excited to have him join the team. And then Matthew Creeley is going to be our PC work specialist. So we are starting to staff up. That is great. And then Caitlin Forrestberg is our new permit tech as of August 1st. She participated in a competitive recruitment and was selected to move from John Russell. He also competed to move into the Public Works Maintenance 3 position, which is cross connection. And we were able to solidify that so that he is starting July 16th. A couple of other things that are in the works. Building inspector. There's currently 3 positions that they're looking for: building inspector, an assistant planner, and like I said, the one that was filled for permit tech. We have a building inspector who's expecting to start August 1st. There's some backgrounding stuff that he's in process for, and we hope to officialize that soon. And then we have a couple of openings that just opened as of today and actually tomorrow, which is maintenance worker 2. That position is to backfill for Sean's promotion to a maintenance worker 3, and that's in budget and everything. The administrative assistant cashier is the position that I just mentioned. Caitlin moving from finance to...
It should actually be accounting specialist cashier.
I just wrote that in. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate it. I will fix that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Other than that, we are still recruiting for assistant planner, police officer, and some seasonal laborers, which we're almost at the close there. For police officer, just an update on that. We are hoping to do the oral boards this Friday with 2 candidates to create an eligibility list. Other than that, you know that there were some retirements done recently on the back of your page. And so we have some out of class occurring for a few employees. We have Brent Hoff. It's not listed on this page currently, but Brent Hoff is doing out of class for Stephen Willison. And then Doug is stepping up to do out of class for John Woodcock. And then we have Keith Proctor, who will be stepping up because Brent Hoff is stepping up. So it's kind of a, domino effect. Any questions?
2 questions.
Absolutely.
I thought Al Young retired.
Al Young is in the process of identifying his retirement date.
He was at a retirement party, so I figured he was gone at 30th.
His name was on the cake, man.
Yeah. And they said we have all these on the 30th.
Al was the one that was not solidified yet, but he just communicated with us recently.
I think you asked for that specifically when you handed him his sign. Can't have this until you get your sign.
For a big position to backfill as soon as possible. So you have some ideas on that yet? Or?
Well, I know we have Kyle. Kyle's been working under it.
Qualifications and such, but that would be.
And what's the background for Brian Sadler?
Brian Sandler has 17 years of experience with the City of Renton and Human Resources. He's coming as a senior analyst, and he has covered many of the areas of HR that we need.
You already done it all, okay.
Yep, so he went through 2 interviews and did very well, and feel very good about it.
This is a promotion for him to come here?
It is.
Okay,
Yep.
Cool. Thank you, good job.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
That was me.
Okay, wonderful.
You've had about 4 minutes to read this. You got anything?
Not
Okay.
yet.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. We'll move on to business action items. AB 22-101, Resolution 3065, authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with prosecutor by Carpel.
Something like
Dina.
that.
Yes, thank you. PBK is what they call it, to be slick. But So back, I don't even remember how many months ago, originally ARPA funds, American Rescue Plan Act funds were approved for the city to go with an electronic file management software. Originally, the plan was to go with LawBase. There were some concerns about utilizing it when not plugged into Ethernet, like into the computer city system directly, and when a person's. So because of that, I researched other software companies. This is by a lot of different cities and state. They are very similar cost. If anything, we're going to save maybe a couple hundred. And it should end up costing $25,200. Originally, we had budgeted $25,990. Theory, there should be an additional $790.
Okay.
So really, it's just switching out from one company to a different.
Okay. And this is for electronic file management?
Right. They do electronic file management, and then they also, and they're fully CGIS. I've had a whole bunch of questions.
Okay.
Got a couple questions. Does this work well with our system, Chuck?
Yes, and that was the main reason why
Really?
we discontinued moving forward with the other vendor was they would not have worked well with us. But yeah, I think I probably sent at least a dozen questions over to this provider, and they answered them all.
And under optional items, there's a number of charges here. Do you anticipate those on page 9? There's still charges on there because.
All the optional add-ons we were not.
Okay.
At this point.
On 2 documents, custom reports and criminal document templates and stuff. And
We're not anticipating needing any of those.
so you don't anticipate any additional charges coming to it over what you've already planned is my concern.
The 2,500 annual for the maintenance is what it looks like, or 2,800.
Right.
Right. There's the 2,700 total annual. Is the only thing that we could, it's really going to depend on body worn camera of storing.
Are we storing those cloud-based or are those all hard?
The PD side, it's all cloud-based.
Okay. I can't imagine what kind of
Yeah, it's
storage space you'd
yeah, they
require for
be
that.
huge.
Yeah.
As soon as they hit a city Wi-Fi, the device actually automatically starts uploading, and they can dock it for a hardwired connection. But literally, in any of the police buildings, if they've got recorded, it just automatically jumps. Pretty nice that they can kind of just go on the fly and not.
Yeah.
How's it working so far?
Yeah, we're still working through. The last kind of, not glitch, but the last step we had was auto tagging of video that matched to a South Sound 911 case.
Oh.
And we've got that last little bit. So South Sound will basically take all the cases that we have and put them in a special file that will match up and get pulled into Axon and automatically link to a recorded event for that case. And that's all done automatically. So instead of having the police go back in and go, okay, well, we got 50 recordings today. Now, which one goes with what case? It's all handled kind of seamlessly. Yeah.
Same with when they pull a gun or a taser or turn on their lights, it all seems. I know that wasn't related to finance, but was this previously approved for LawBase?
Correct. That's why we're coming back again to get it approved for by Carpel.
Okay. Do you know what that resolution was?
One of our ARPA ones.
Okay.
So we just approved the funding, we hadn't approved the contract.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So this is actually approving a contract.
Okay. Okay, that works then. All right. Anyone have any issues with that going on?
And I don't. John, you have any concerns about the annual cost? It's not very much nominal, so compared to what we're.
We'll factor it into the upcoming.
Okay. Well, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Any objections to that going on a consent agenda? Okay. All right. That'll go on to the next consent. And we'll go back.
Justin,
Hi.
22-34.
Oh, okay.
That's the agenda bill.
Okay. All right. Going on to the approval of minutes, Mr. Watson.
Are 100% correct?
All right. Do you agree with that, Councilmember Baldwin? All right.
I guess she's had 4 minutes to look at it.
Well, it's 14 now, Debbie. 14 now. All right, and then we'll go on to open discussion. Item 1, East Pierce Transit Feasibility Study. John.
Yeah, so sometime in mid to late 2020, a working group with a number of cities bringing transit back to East Pierce County. Comprised of ourselves, Buckley, Carbonado, Orleans, South Prairie, Sumner, and Wilkinson. Had 4 meetings so far, so they're not very frequent. And the next one is coming up on August 8th. But the last meeting we had back in May, Brian Windish from Sumner. The long and the short is they're proposing doing East Pierce Transit feasibility study. It would be jointly funded by all of the participating agencies, size of the population. Study would determine whether or not it's actually feasible to reinstate transit service in East Pierce County, and then also what kind of funding mechanism reinstating in transit. Pierce Transit has been attending meetings on the periphery, but as you know, we're outside of the Pierce Transit District, so they've provided the question that we all committed to all the agencies meeting was, are we interested in participating in a transit feasibility study? And if we are, and all the other agencies also say yes, our share would be $52,000.
I have a question. So as far as this is concerned, and we were to say yes to do a feasibility study, they would be looking to see whether transit would be beneficial as far as bus services being more available within Bonney Lake other than at the top of the hill there?
Correct, yeah. And then also what kind of service? Is it your traditional fixed route service? Is it an on-demand type service? Geographical area, the population. What would be the best type of service?
I think another question that I have then is Buckley being, it looks like an endpoint there. If Buckley were to say yes and we were to move forward and we were to say yes and start, creating this transit system here, we could potentially be end of line, or Buckley would be end of line, correct?
Yes. Yep. And potentially our cost could go up because you can see it's based on all of the agencies participating based on population-based allocation. So if cost increase.
Do we have any leverage against Pierce Transit? So say we get together and obviously we need transit. I don't think that we need to spend $250,000 to tell you we need that. But we go to, ultimately we can't even make this decision without a vote of the people on the funding mechanism, right? This is a tax-based.
I think that's one of the things that the feasibility study will come up with is what the funding mechanism would look like.
Okay.
Because we would not be going back into Pierce Transit.
Oh, we would not?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's where I thought. That's why.
Yeah, we need a vote of the people to go back in, if I'm not mistaken, a vote of the people to get back in the boundaries of Pierce.
Yeah. Okay. So this would almost be
Pierce Transit.
Our own. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, I was like, why are we going to do this if we don't have the vote of the people, and 2, Pierce Transit says, we're not interested. Yeah. But yeah, if it's East Pierce, then.
Oh, on the on-demand, can you find out how much we had in Bonney Lake and Buckley and areas for the last 4 or 5 years? I've been part of that with CFF. I know they've done that with the. If they're not getting a lot of demand up here, that was the problem. I know we need a transit system. We've had one before. It wasn't being used. So what's the most economical thing for us to do? And
I echo the same sentiment. I don't know that.
I've seen it all before.
And that's the purpose of this feasibility study, is none of us are transit experts.
Right.
And so if we all come together collectively, fund a feasibility study, tell us what is, if it's feasible.
Yeah, I mean, the demand is going to be difficult to gauge because it's not here. I know that I don't have tomatoes in my backyard, so I don't go looking for tomatoes in my backyard. They're not there. So it's hard to gauge a demand on something that it's a known doesn't exist. So I think that's where
Do you have garlic?
I think I do, yeah.
So,
I wondered where my tomatoes
we're not
went.
committing.
Yeah.
What all of us agency representatives committed to doing was just at this upcoming meeting, is there interest on behalf of our church?
How serious is Ording?
I don't know. I know Sumner made their presentation.
I mean, it makes total sense in Sumner just going northbound from all of their places.
Pat always said they need it in Buckley too.
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
I've talked to people come up the hill and need a bike ride and stuff. The Buckley here.
Yeah, so the first step is gauging our interest. If we're interested, then we'd work on an inter.
How much would be our portion again?
Well, our proportion is 52,000
If everyone
all
says yes.
Says yes.
yeah. So if you go to page 45, there's again if one or more of us.
So what's this going to cost us to run the system?
That's what the feasibility.
Cyber auctions in Tacoma sells buses for about $3,500, used Metro buses. I mean, if we really want to, we can start making our own revenue just doing it here.
And I want to make sure that we're talking about the same. We're talking about buses.
Well, I mean, like you
Well,
said, yeah.
mass transit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
so it could be buses on.
We're not
fixed
talking about
routes.
rideshare vans. We're talking
It
about
could be.
buses. Okay.
I don't think necessarily rideshare.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
Could be small vans though.
There could be smaller.
Page 43, it talks about identifying various service options such as buses, rideshare, microtransit.
Oh, it is rideshare. Okay.
Even autonomous transit. Self-driving buses.
What is microtransit?
Yeah. What is microtransit?
You on the Google machine?
Okay.
Maybe it's like those buses
Get
they
your
have
own
for
Uber.
ride share. Yeah.
And I'm just, I guess, I don't know that Bonney Lake is the type of city that has a large need for any. We are predominantly single family residence vehicles. And so, I don't know.
The only thing I would disagree with that because with our growth on East Town, we're going to have more families that can't afford a car and want to get from Bonney Lake down to and we're trying to get more jobs down there. I don't know, I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
It could be an opportunity for them
to go to work.
Yeah, to go to work along 410.
Yeah, and you're right. Residentially, we are a bedroom community,
Right.
but we have a super high service industry. People living on Sky Island are not working at Applebee's. So you got to figure a way to get the people into the city as well. So this would be, people coming from Sumner, Ording, coming here to work, not necessarily us getting out of the city to go to work, but others getting into the city to work.
But then my question then becomes, what are they doing now?
They may, I mean, who knows?
Because there is no transit
Well,
system.
you
But I mean,
got-
in this world right now, I know how difficult it is to find people. And if I know I can't get up the hill, I'm not applying for that job. So maybe there's an option there for others that just one more option.
The majority of our people a few years ago worked in Sumner, that area down
Yeah,
there.
that's where I
That
work.
means they're coming down here, the parking ride,
Yeah.
taking them on the hill, and then somehow they get into where they're working in Sumner, by
In
buddies
Sumner.
and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing for East Town going to end up being.
When Renwood was built, it was built with the intent of mass transit and being a commuter area. That's why there's more buildings and parking, because at the time, our city code allowed for less parking stalls if it was within a certain distance of a mass transit. During the build, the city council elected to get out of it. But so that's why there's so many parking issues there, is we transitioned out of the mass transit during build of that, but that's one of the
Yeah,
options
that's
as well.
definitely working.
Yeah. But I mean, I drove through downtown Auburn over the weekend, and just seeing all the buildup they have going on right now around the train station. Just
It's amazing.
one train station there. So many apartments and restaurants and retail and all of this stuff around one bus station, or around, it's a bus and train station, but
But when I think of Auburn or even Puyallup, and then I then think of Bonney Lake, I don't know that I can compare those. I don't look at those cities as comparable just simply because, you know, you look at Auburn, and my question then becomes, what is the impact that transit has had on that community? I don't know. I don't
working,
have
yeah.
data on that, but
people that are working in Seattle that can't afford to live in Seattle. Right? It just adds one more option. I mean, Bonney Lake is far more affordable than Auburn, which is more affordable than Kent, and
Yeah.
further out you go, you know, there might be an opportunity for people that can only afford to live out here, but don't have the means to get off of the hill. I mean, short of just this here to Sumner and back.
And that's why I've taken on the idea, which we haven't discussed it yet, like over here on our Gulf area, an apartments over here, like down there, tall ones.
Yeah.
Because you've got the rapid transit here, you've got some stores here. If you had a bus going from here, to East Town, hypothetically, they could be living and working here, it would stay within Bonney Lake, what we want them to do. And that's all future discussion, but that's thoughts to think about.
Micro transit's like an airport shuttle.
It is. Okay.
Oh, cool, good job.
Oh, yeah, it's,
Thank you for that visual.
small scale on-demand public transit.
That's a good vehicle for John to drive around with.
Yeah,
He's
larger,
working
yeah, it's, yeah.
in his spare time. Who's gotta go?
So
I think
Yeah.
we can do something. I mean, it's gonna be a problem. It'll help our growth out here somehow. As long as we
At
have-
the last meeting, they talked about, you know, case of typical government, you know.
Yeah.
Interlocal direct.
Yeah, I mean, you're just doing an update on this, right?
Yes.
You're not even asking for money.
When did we stop having buses up here? 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
It was
Oh,
before
long time.
before I got on the council,
Oh, okay.
so it was 7 or 8 years ago.
I always thought buses.
Oh, they've been here, but not Pierce
there's
County.
Pierce County. Yeah, there's
He's
a bus
driving
that
all
goes
around
from
Bonney
here to Sumner and Sumner to back. It just takes you straight to the
Where's
train
the east all the
station.
way out to Buck?
That's
Oh, this one.
that's all this does. Yeah, that
Gotcha.
park and ride.
Well, there used to be a number
On
of bus stops.
page
We used to have
40.
a bus stop service.
It says May 2012,
Wow.
2012?
10 years.
Years ago.
so 10 years.
Bus stops by Allen York Park and stuff.
So I will report back to the committee that we're interested in.
Good to me.
Any other open discussion? Make this a briefer meeting than public safety.
Just make Debbie aware of what we're doing in council. We're doing minutes now. We're doing them real brief. Like Tom asked about Pierce County Transit and going a lot of detail. We're recording here too, so you don't have to go a whole lot of detail. Did you not change hers?
I don't know that we decided that.
It was just a discussion
Yeah, it
point
was just a discussion
Yeah.
at this point.
during the section 2 discussion on just the code revision.
Well, they have changed it. So they sent to me for approval, the reduced minutes, so.
Okay.
Oh, they've already started?
They've already started, and they sent to me as if I liked them. I said, yeah, it's very basic, concise, and
Are they doing a reference to the timings?
Yeah.
Going to reduce.
Yeah.
you'll see on next week's workshop. And you can always change it.
Discussion started at
Oh, I guess
6
it'll be in the middle.
6:43 p.m. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? We are adjourned.
That's
Thank
it.
you,
Easy one.
Angela, for hanging out.
Good job, Sharon.